Over the past 10 years of hunting and filming professionally, my journey has evolved. I once sought animals and adventure, and I still seek those things. Yet now more than ever, I seek answers around the growing questions that surround myself as a hunter. I've found that my connection to the land brings a certain clarity to the rest of my life. This is what brings me back into high country. I think it's hard to put into words what all deer hunting means to me. Deer hunting was the very first form of hunting I was ever really able to do. It's the first form of hunting I really understood, and by far the animal that I got to be around the most growing up outside of Bozeman, Montana. Although we have both whitetail and mule deer here, I've really fallen in love with hunting the mule deer. I'm not sure if that's because we have more of them here, or if there's just something about the animal versus the whitetail that I prefer more. But either way, it's the mule deer that drives me every year. It's the mule deer that makes me hike to the back of the deepest canyons, and it's the mule deer that gets me out there every sunrise during November. This year, and every year in between the ages of 12 and 39, has been the same. Although I've hunted whitetail, it's mule deer that's brought me back here. So for this episode of Deer Week, I just want to go over the past 3 years of deer hunting here in Montana and how each and every hunt is different. In 2015, I was invited to hunt with Lloyd Ketchum on his ranch outside of Miles City, Montana. This was super special to me, not only to get the opportunity to hunt a ranch like Lloyd's, but to get to hunt with a rodeo Hall of Famer. So to be out here hunting with Lloyd was something special. Hunting deer in this country is something that Lloyd has looked forward to his whole life as well as myself. So to be able to do it together and share stories and hear the stories of his days in the rodeo was something I'll never forget. We looked over a lot of deer with Lloyd and a lot of nice bucks. He really wanted to find that old class of deer. He really wanted to manage this property and just pick out the best possible, oldest deer we could. So it was hard passing up bucks that anywhere else I would be happy with. But to know what Lloyd was after was something I was happy to participate in.
Well, it's the end of our first evening here, and as you can see, we just had kind of a tough decision to make there right at dark. Absolutely beautiful 5x5, big mature mule deer buck. But I think I just love hunting them too much. I want it to last longer, so we're just gonna let them slip off into the coulee for the night. There's actually 2 other bucks back over here too. That was fun. Call it a day. started our walk. And we caught the glimpse of a buck that we just could tell that he was a dark rack chocolate buck, headed right up into this coulee. So we're going to get right up here to these rocks, see if we can get a view of him here. So let's get going.
There was no doubt when I saw this buck. He was an old, heavy horned deer with extra points out either side, and you could just tell by looking at him that he was an old buck.
Yeah, go ahead.
Overshot him?
He's dead.
Putting your hands on a buck like this is something truly special. To walk up to a buck that's lived his entire life in this area and be there in his final moments is something that's hard to describe. But when you take a buck when it's right, and you take a buck when the age class is perfect for the herd, nothing feels better. You know, to come out here and hunt the same place that I started hunting when I was 12, you know, not 60 miles from here, and to continually be able to take quality deer that many years later just says something for the work that these conservation groups are doing and the landowners working together to give us the opportunity to kill bucks like this. You know, it's setting your sights on finding a deer that really just gets you excited, and that's exactly what this buck did. It didn't take looking at him twice, and I knew this was the guy I wanted to take. And you know, on my birthday, nonetheless, it means an awful lot to me. This is the best birthday present anyone could ever give me. So thanks for being here, Lance. Appreciate it, buddy. That means a lot too. Can't thank Lloyd and everyone enough for giving me this opportunity. So, pretty awesome. Every year of hunting deer is different. Whether you're hunting mule deer or whitetail, you're always going to find success by doing something just a little bit different than the year before. 2016 was almost the exact opposite of 2015. Last year, I looked over a ton of bucks before finding the one I wanted. And this year, the very first morning of deer hunting, I spotted a buck that I was absolutely in love with. He was an old double main beam buck that had points coming off everywhere. He was one of those bucks that when you see, there's no doubt in your mind. And that's what I hunt for. I always hunt for that animal, whether it's deer or elk, that when I see him, I know it's the one. And this was the one. After getting into position, we knew we just had to be patient, and sooner or later, this buck would offer us the shot we were after. Beautiful deer, and that setup just worked out so great. I love it when you can come out into this country. Beautiful day. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I never would have thought I would have been done this quickly deer hunting. This really is the first day that other than archery hunting, this is the first day I've hunted. That is a beautiful deer. I had a perfect rest on my backpack. And I know I put it right where it needed to be. 270 here. I think when asked what makes a perfect deer hunt for me, it's hunts like this one right here. It's finding the buck you want. It's being out in God's country on a beautiful day and watching the sun rise and the sun set. And in the middle of all that, finding a buck that absolutely makes your heart pound out of your chest is what makes the perfect deer hunt. To be able to sneak in and have him not know you're there, set up, and then make the perfect shot, and later finally put your hands on him and take that meat home to my family. All of that is what makes the perfect deer hunt for me. Where the pavement ends, on X begins. This last fall, I found that I had less time to deer hunt than normal. I had drawn a special tag for bighorn sheep and really had put a lot of time in on that and hunting elk as well. We're just coming down this steep ridge trying to get to the creek bottom. It's so windy, we're trying to get out of that wind. I just spotted a big old heavy horn mature buck, bedded like 200 yards. I think if we get down around the corner, it'll be better. It's no wonder these big old mature bucks can hide. We're just bushwhacking through this stuff. Come to right here where you can see they've carved out a flat spot to bed. There is no way you would see these deer. Yeah, this is super steep where we're trying to come down off. We're having to be very careful. I mean, every step counts. It's steep enough. If you started going, you would not stop. So, we're trying to hurry, but be careful. The beautiful part about being in Montana is you'll find a lot of the same animals in similar areas. This year, on one of the days that I had focused on hunting deer, we decided to go into one of the deepest, darkest canyons I could find. We had super high winds this day, So I had a good hunch that any deer that might be living in this canyon would be in even a smaller space than they normally would, trying to avoid this high wind. As we worked down into this thick, gnarly, steep canyon, we spotted the buck I had been hoping for. A mature, old, lone buck, out here all by himself, just like last year. To find an old buck down here out of the wind. He was so camouflaged, and we kept moving around this bench and moving around, and we'd lose him. But he'd never move. He was always in the same spot. He was just that camo, and we were able to slip in here and just wait him out. Make 2 great shots, put him down, and as you can see, I mean, we've got our work cut out for us. This stuff is straight up and down. We're gonna have to figure out how we're even gonna get to him. Yeah, he has just got an enormous body, which we knew. Big old mature buck like this. Look at this thing. Look at how tall and heavy. We gotta get to work on this guy, get some pictures and get to work, because we gotta go straight up. And it's gonna get dark soon, but man, was it worth it. Look at this mule deer buck. Sometimes pushing yourself a little further and going a little deeper is all it takes to make the difference between being successful and being successful on the buck that you've dreamed of. Hunting deer for me will never get old. It's what I grew up hunting, and I look forward to it every year. I get asked, what's my favorite thing to hunt? And it changes. I love to hunt deer in November, just like I love to hunt elk in September, and bears in April and May. I have a passion for hunting. I've never been on a hunt I didn't enjoy. When I think back on special hunts for me, deer rank right up there. Not only deer I've taken, but deer hunts I've shared in with my father and friends. And God willing, we'll be able to keep coming to these badlands of Montana and chase these bucks here until my kids' time comes to chase this majestic animal.